All right, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak here with Israel. I'd like to start off by giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Right, so today we're going to go over Deuteronomy chapter 28, going into the Hebrew. Lord willing, you're edified, giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Right, let's get right into it. Salakia. This is Deuteronomy 28:1, and it reads, Wahaya I'm Shammai, Tha Shammai, meaning, and it will come to pass if surely you will hear in the voice of the Lord your power, Baqal Yahweh Alahayaka, to keep, La Shamar, to do, La Ashawath, to all of his commandments, Atha Kal Matazawath Yahweh, which I have commanded thee this day, Ashar Anakaya, Matazawaka, Hayawam, Wanathan Ka, Yahweh Lahayaka, and will make thee the Lord of your power, most high, Layawan, upon all the nations of the earth. I'll call Gawaya of the earth, Ha'arataza, right? Waba'awa, Alayaka, call Barakwath, and will enter upon thee all blessings these, Ha'alha, and will come near unto thee, Waha Shayag Ka, right? Because the root word is Nashag, meaning to draw close or near. Kaya Tashamai Bakwal Yahweh Lahayaka, because you hear in the voice of the Lord your power. Barakatha Ba'ayar Wabarak Atha Ba'ashada, blessed you will be in the city, blessed you will be in the field. Barak Paraya Batan Ka Wa Paraya Adamath Ka, meaning blessed will be the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your land or ground. Wa Paraya Bahamathi Ka, and the fruit of your beast, Shagar Alapia Ka, and the offspring of your ox, right? And that word Shagar is a derivative of Sagar, meaning to shut in, right? But in this sense, it's talking about what is shut out from the womb of the cattle, hence the offspring, right? So you could translate this as Shagar as fetus or offspring, right? Wa Ashataroth, and the riches of your flock, Taza'an Ka, Salakia, Barak Tanaka, blessed will be your basket, Wa Masha'ar Thaka, and your kneading trough, right? Because that word Sha'ar means that something that remains, right? Or a remnant of something, which is what fermented dough is made of, right? You take it out of what you would make for bread, unleavened bread, and you leave it out and it ferments, right? Then you can make fermented bread with it, right? Which is where you get the word hamatazah, which means sour, but it also means fermented bread. Matazawa uh, means unleavened bread, right? Or sweet. That's what it literally means, sweet. Because unleavened bread isn't necessarily sour, right? So sha'ar, it means remnant, but it's also something that remains, or another word for leavened bread, or dough that is left out to be leavened, right? Barakatha, baba'a, baba, ka. Blessed you will be, and you're going in. Wa barakatha, bataza'atha, bataza'athka. Blessed you will be, and you're going out. Yathan Yahweh, atha ayabyaka, and will place the Lord to your enemies that rise up against thee. Hakwamyam, alayaka, to be smitten. Nagapium, panyaka, before thee. Because that word nagap means to smite, to be smitten. Badarak, in the way. Achad yataza'awa, al yaka. One, they will go out into thee. Wabashabaya, Thrakium, and in 7 ways they will flee from before thee. Yanawaswa, Lapanyaka. Right, so it says, and will appoint the Lord to your enemies that rise up against thee, to be smitten before thee. In 1 way they will go out unto thee, and in 7 ways they will flee from before thee. Yatazawa, Yahweh, Athaka, and he will command the Lord unto thee, to the blessing, Atha Habaraka, in your storehouses, Ba Asam Yaka, Wabakal, Mashalaki Adka, and upon all descending out of your hand, Wabaraka, Ba Arataza, and will bless thee in the land which the Lord your power is giving unto thee. Ashar Yahweh Alahayaka, Nathan Laka, right? Now let's look at that word asam, meaning a storehouse. Salakia, just bear with me. Asam, meaning, let's see what we can get for that. Storehouse, right? Storehouse, compared with the Aramaic, which is asana, store supply, right? That's asa na a, right? There's 2 circles, that's a sa. So the root meaning meaning to heap together a storehouse, right? Verse 9, Yaquayim ka, Yahweh, Lawa, La'im, and he will raise up unto thee, the Lord, to be unto him for a people, holy, Quadash, Ka Ashar Nashabai Laka, like which he had sworn unto thee, Kayath Ashamar Athamazawath, because you have kept to the commandments of the Lord your power, Yahweh al-Hayakah, and you have walked in his ways, Wahalak, Wahalakth, Badarak Yahweh, right? Wara'awa, called Imaya, Ha'arataza Kaya, and will see all the peoples of the earth, because the name of the Lord, Sham Yahweh, it is called upon thee, Nakwara'ah, Layaka, and they will fear of thee, Wayara'ah, Wayara'awa, Mamka, Waha, Thawarathka, or Salakia, Waha, Watharka, which is really, Waha Tharka, Yahweh Latawaba, and he will and it will be remaining unto thee, right, for good, right? That root for Hawathar is Yathar, meaning an excess or something that remains, right? But in this sense, it's saying something that is bountiful, right? But it's in the same, you can just say something that's remaining, right? And you'll get the context as you read along. So Waha Watharka, Yahweh La Tawaba, right? And will be remaining unto thee, or Salakia, and he will cause to remain unto thee, the Lord, for good, Pariah Patanka, in the fruit of your womb, Pariah Bahamathka, in the fruit of your beast, Pariah Adamathka, in the fruit of your ground, Al Ha'adamah, upon the earth, Ashar Nashabai, which has sworn Yahweh, the Lord, La Abathayaka, to your fathers to give unto thee, Lathath Laka. Pathak Yahweh Laka Atah Awatazarwa, right? Meaning he will open the Lord unto thee to his treasures, goodly, Hatawab, Atah Hashabayim, to the heavens, Lathath, to give, Matar, meaning rain, to your land, Aratazaka, in its time, Ba'ithawa. Wala Barak Atha Kal Ma'aisha, and will bless you all of the doings of your hand, Yadka. Waha Lawayath, and you will lend to nations, Gawayim, Rabiam, many, Wa'atha La'a Thalawa, right? And to you they will not lend, right? Because that word lend is lawa, right? Meaning to lend, or to it means join together. The actual word for lend is haibat, but this is in the sense of lending. Wanathan ka Yahweh la Ra'ash and will make thee, the Lord, to be the head, Wala'ah, Lazanab, and not the tail. Or actually reads, and not for tail, meaning, right, you're not going to be, you're going to be exalted. Wahaya Yath, Rakwa, La Ma'ala, and you will be only, Rakwa, lifted up, La Ma'ala, Wala'a Tahaya, and you will not be below, La Mata, right? Kaya Tashamai, because you hear to the commandments, Al Matazawath, of the Lord your power, Yahweh Lahayaka, which I have commanded unto thee, Ashar Anakaya Matazawaka, today, Hayawam, La Shamar, Wala Ashawath, to keep and to do, right? So let's visit what that word means. Mata, which means something that is below. Salakia, just had it pulled up earlier. Mata, which is downward, beneath, below, right? That's all that it means. Let's see. Nah, has nothing to do with that. Downward, beneath. Salakia. So Mata, below. Wala'ah, Tasawar, Makal, Hadabarium, and you will not turn back from all the words. Ashara Nakaya Matazawa, Atakam, which I have commanded unto you this day, Hayawam, or today, Yamayan, Wa Shama'al, or Wa Shamal, to the right and to the left. La Lakath, to walk after gods others, to serve them. Aharya, Alahayim, Aharyam, La Ibadam, Abadama. Or Salakia, La Ibadma. Deuteronomy 28 and 15, Wahaya, I'm La'ah Tashamai, and it will come to pass if you do not hear in the voice of the Lord your power, Baqual Yahweh Lahayaka, to keep to do to all his commandments, La Shamar La Aishawath, Atha, Kal Matazawath Yahweh, and his statutes, Wa Hakwat Yahweh, which I have commanded thee today, Ashar Anakaya Matazawaka, Hayawam, Wa Ba'awa, Alayaka, and will enter against thee, or will enter upon thee, all of the curses these, call Hakwalalwath Ha'alha, and will draw near unto thee, Waha Shayagwa Shayagka, right? The Wa is supplementary, right? Arar Atha Ba'ayar Wa Arar Atha Bashada, meaning cursed you will be in the city and cursed you will be in the field. Arar Tana Ka Wa Masha'ar Masha'ar tha ka, meaning curse will be your basket and your kneading trough. Trough is just another word for a bowl, but it doesn't say bowl or anything, but it's talking about your dough, but more properly kneading trough. Arar Pariah Batan Ka, curse will be the fruit of your womb. Wa Pariah Adamat Ka, and the fruit of your ground, right? Shagar Alapia Ka, right? And the offspring of your ox, and the riches of your flock. Wa Ashataroth Tazan Ka. Arar Atha Baba'a Ka, meaning curse you will be in your going in. Wa Arar Atha Bataza'ath Ka, curse you will be in going out, and you're going out. Yashalach Yahweh Baka Atha Ma'ara, meaning he will send out the Lord upon thee, right, to cursing. Atha Hama, and disquietness, right? The word is Hama, meaning to disquiet. That word for Ma'ara, the root is Arar, meaning cursing and disquietness, right? That's what those two words mean. Wa'atha Hama Gayarath, and to rebuke, right? Let's get that real quick. Let's start with that word Ma'ara, which is Arar, meaning curse. Curse, right? Ma meaning of, Ara of curse, which is Arar to shorten. Mahawama, commotion, disturbance, which is Hawama. To put into motion, to disturb, right? To be disturbed, to be in commotion, right? In the sense of disquietness, right? So Salaki, if I'm going a little bit fast, I'm just trying to, there's 68 verses in this chapter. I'm just trying to make sure I can cover it within a 2-hour span, so I don't have to make 2 separate videos. Ma Gayarath, the root word is Gayar, meaning rebuke. Reproof, rebuke, not necessarily. Let's see, Gayar, rebuke, reprove anyone, right? Let's see. So this is in the sense of to rail on somebody, right? Meaning to get on somebody, right? Let's get the word rail, because the Arabic says Ga ir, meaning to low, to ask with a loud voice, to entreat with groans and cries, right? Which is to rail. So this really means to rail, which is another way to say rebuke, right? So you can say that the text says that, rebuke, but it's in the sense of it really means to rail. Let's get that word rail. Salakia. Let's get that rail definition. Salakia. To rail, complain or protest strongly and persistently about. Similarly, would be the synonyms of rail is denounce, censure, condemn, take issue with, kick against. Right, let's get some synonyms for rail. Basically another way to say rebuke. But when you rail on somebody, you're yelling at them, right? Which is a sense of a form of rebuke. Scold, right? In the sense of scolding, right? Which is the closest to it, right? Abuse, like verbal abuse, right? Which happened to Jake during slavery, right? An example of rail is, your name is Toby, shut up, So that's what that means. That's the rebuke, which is really scolding, right? You can say scold or to rail if you're not familiar with the word rail, right? But simply put, you can just say that the text says rebuke, right? But the actual word for rebuke is yasar, right? Reprove is nakach. Right. Exhort would be what is it? Let's get that real quick. Let's see. Blue letter. Salakia. Just type in reprove. Right. See if I can get what I'm looking for. Yasar rebuke. Yakach reprove. Let's see. Exhort one another. See if I can find that. Bible Hub. Hebrews 3 and 13. See what we can get for that. Just want to see something real quick. Which is parakaleo, but see if I can find see what the Hebrew equivalent of the Greek is. Right. Slovakia. Let's see, Nachum, right? Meaning to comfort. Nacham, comfort, ease oneself, right? Or to repent, right? Because that's part of what Paul the Apostle spoke about, right? He said reprove, right? Meaning yasar, which really means right, to chastise, but literally it means to reprove, as in to chastise, whether with words or right physically, which was done back then according to the law. Of course, we're not going to do that today, right? Reprove would be nakach or yakach. That word yakach means to present oneself, right? Because what would be done in ancient days, you would reprove somebody, meaning you would, right, correct them, right, with words, right? You would present them in front of the congregation, yakach, and then you would comfort them after you correct them, you know, and you in the midst of the people. Then you would then they would repent, and you would comfort them, which is nacham, which literally means to repent or to comfort. Right? Let's get some precepts on that. Genesis 5:29, it says comfort. Right? Genesis 6:6, the Lord repented that he had made man on the earth. Repent, comfort, right? So that's what it means. What you do in exhortation, right? Afterwards, you know, you say, look, you know, it's okay, brother. You just have to do better, right? Which is what we're doing, right? When we correct these other camps, right? We correct them, we rebuke them, and then we reprove them. Meaning, why we correct them, while we're correcting them, we're making a video showing where they went off, so that all will see, right? And then we comfort them, right? Meaning we ask them to repent and comfort them with good words and show them the good, you know, lift them up afterwards, right? Reprove. Yakach. Right? To be in the forefront, to be in the forefront, right? Which is what you do while you rebuke someone. You present your contention, and then, you know, you show where they went off so that others may see, and then you comfort them, right? Let's see. So the Arabic says wagah, wagah, or wagah, right? Wataza'ah, to make clear, to demonstrate, to prove, right? Which that word wataza'ah, right? It reminds me of aitaza or ma aitaza, which is ma, a, taza, ha. The word itaza means counsel, right? Waga, right? It's not wagach because in the Arabic, wagach will be written like this. Or yakach, if you were to actually write it, it would be ya, ka. This little dot makes it a ha. Without the dot, it's just a ha, as in ha, right? These little dots and that is the ya, ka, cha, yakach. But this says wa, ga. There's a little dot under it, that's ga. And that is actually a ha. So a ha can be written in the Arabic like this, ha, or ha, or ha. And what has a ha, right? So just show you real quick, right? So this in the Hebrew would be written like this, wa, waga. This would be written wa, taza, a, because that little dot gives it a little a sound. Wa, taza, a. So let's see. So yeah, that's part of the order that Paul the Apostle gave. Let's get that real quick. Reprove, rebuke, exhort. Bible Hub. Second Timothy chapter 4 and verse 2. Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort, with all long suffering and doctrine, right? Because to exhort means to comfort. Words of exhortation, words of comfort, right? Rebuke means to present your case in the midst of the people that you're reproving, right? Reprove just means to reprove, right? To chastise, or right, in the sense of right, correct, right? So let's see. Let's go back, just so you can get an idea of how that works, right? Salakia. Let's see what else we got here. So yeah, I didn't want to, go into all that, but needless. I thought, that just for edification, needless to say, I figured I'd take it out, right? Or I'd go into those various meanings, right? Let's see where we're at. Salakia. Right, Magayartha. So that's where I left off. Bakal, Mashalak, Yadka, and all that's in and out of your hand. Ashar, the Aisha, which you will do. Ad, even, till he destroy thee. Hashamadka, Wa'ad, abad ka, and even until you perish. Mahar meaning quickly. Mapanaya from before. Before, or you can just say before. Right, the evil of your revisitation. Ma alal yaka. Right, the word alal means to revisit or to drink back up. Right, when you, right, that's used in a poetic sense. Right, Ashar, which you had forsaken me. Izab Thanaya, right? So verbatim it says, He will send out the Lord upon thee, right? To cursing and disquietness and to rebuke upon all of the sending out of your hand, which you will do, even till he destroy thee, and even until you perish quickly, because of the evil of your doings, in which you had forsaken me, right? Verse 21, Yadabak, Yahweh Baka, Atah Hadabar, right? Meaning he will cause to cling the Lord unto thee, to the matter, meaning the things previously spoken of. Ad, even, till you be consumed. Kalathwa, the root word is kala, meaning to consume or to complete. Literally, it means complete. Which is where you get the word call from, meaning all, or kala means complete. Ataka, unto you, even to a year he has consumed you. Ma'al ha'adama, from upon the earth. Ashar ata ba'a shama, which or Salakia says, He will cause to cling the Lord upon thee to the matter, meaning the thing previously spoken of, even till you be consumed from upon the land, ha'adama, ashar atha, which you are going in hither to possess, ba'a shama la rashata. Right, so it says, He will make the Lord to cling unto you, right, to the pestilence, until you be consumed, right, from upon the land which you are going in hither to possess. Ya Yakak, Yahweh, Shachaptha, right? He will smite thee, the Lord, right, with consumption. Wa Bakwadachta, and fever. Waba Dalakta, and inflammation. Waba Harhar, with scorching heat. Waba Harab, and upon the sword. Or Slakia, with a drought. Waba Shadap one, and with blight. Waba Yarakwan, and mildew. Wa Radapka, and you will be chased even till you perish. Ad Abadka, right? I'm going to go into some of them words, right? Because there is a simpler explanation, just so you understand, right, what I'm talking about. Let's see if we can get that. Gayar, got that already. Salakia. The word shachap, or shachapta, which the root is shachap, consumption, right? But let's go into the root. Shachap, Gol. That's not what it's talking about. Or let's see. Shachaptha. Consumption, wasting disease of the lungs, right? Just means consumption, right? Because Jake is consumed by his lust, right? And so consumption, Slakia, clicked on the wrong thing. Let's see. What is this? Slakia, bear with me. No, that's not what I was looking for. Then you got the word quadach, burning fever. Right, which is the way you say ice is korach. So this is the opposite. Quadach means kindling, right? Which is another word for fever, right? And the Arabic says quada, to strike fire, right? So that's a ha at the end. If you put a dot on top of it, that's the ha, right? So it means kindling a fire, right? Aramaic says the same, quadach, to bore, to kindle, right? So this is how you compare and contrast, right? Quada, the Arabic says to strike fire with flint, right? So yeah, but that's another word for fever, right? So upon consummation, upon fever, right? Let's look at that word, right? So that was correct, the translation, consummation, fever, right? Let's look at talak, or dalquath, which is burning fever, right? Which not necessarily. Dalak, to burn, to inflame, right? The Aramaic says dalak, the same. It says the same. To flame, to shine, right? But this is dalak means to inflame, right? And that's, Jake, certain, things that Esau pushes is, to get, and Paul the Apostle wrote about that too in Romans chapter 1. I believe that's 1 or 2, where it says, them doing that which is unseemly, right? Even the women as well, right? And the law says not to lay down with mankind, right? Just like with women. Women should not, vice versa, right? You get what I'm saying, right? I just forgot how to say it, right? So dalak, right? Which is why they call them flame, M-O, plural, right? So yeah, and Jake is, just that's just part of the rebuke of the Lord, right? Which is to be inflamed. You just sometimes you just you get upset, right? And this goes into going off to your own lust, right? And just this is talking about anger as well, right? So you can use this in a variety of applications, right? So yeah, right? So now we have shehab, consummation, quadach, right? A kindling, right? Dalak means an inflammation, right? To inflame, right? Which you have, certain sicknesses where you may have inflammation in some parts of your body, right? That's part of the curses, right? Bahar waba har, right? Meaning scorching, right? So yeah, this is talking about inflammation, right? But you can use it in the sense of anger and all that as well. But it is mainly talking about the ailments of the body, right? Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Now, when you see a Hebrew word doubled up like that, right? It's just adding, right? How do you say it? It's just adding more force to the word, like exaggerating a little bit more. It adds more exaggeration, right? So har says inflammation, burning fever, violent heat, right? So we'll go with violent heat, right? Or extreme, right? Heat or extreme burning, right? But let's just say violent heat, right? But that word harar or har just means something that is waxed hot or right, that is made warm. Your anger can wax hot, but it is talking about, for example, Jake in certain parts, Haiti, Jamaica, South America, certain places are just, it's real hot, and you don't have necessary um whether it be shelter or technology, to cool off, right? But you can say scorching, right? Scorching heat, right? Harab, that just means drought. Let's look at that word shadap. Let's see. Shadpa, blasting, blighted, blasting thing, right? Which is not necessarily, that's not necessarily what it means. Shadap means to blast, to scorch, right? It's more in the sense of blasting, not scorching, right? The Arabic says asadap. I guess that's how you say black, as in right, like charred, right? Sadap, to darken, right? Because when you go through famine, you get what's called hyperpigmentation, right? Which is why the scriptures say that Judah mourneth, and they are black unto the ground. It wasn't talking about, well, it was talking about their skin color, but it was talking about hyperpigmentation, which are the effects of famine, right? And so yeah, you could say this means blasting or scorch. But scorch is scorch in the sense of right, right. You're through famine, your what happens is your body withers away, right? But it is mainly talking about your crops, right? For example, um, certain parts of the world, there's because the weather is so extreme, it blasts the crops away, or it rains too much, right? Where there's too much wind, you can't necessarily uh, plant crops properly, right? That's what it's mainly going into, right? So you have shachap, right? Meaning consummation, quadak, fever, dalak, right? Inflammation, har, meaning extreme heat, harab means drought, shadap means a blasting, right? I wouldn't say scorching because it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to do with fire. Um, let's look at that word yarak. Which says persons of paleness of face, yellowness, paleness, mildew. That's not necessarily what it's talking about, because remember that word yarak means green, literally means green, right? So that's talking about, right, mold, mildew, right? Mildew, right? Rust, right? So that has to do with your crops, right? With your habitations, right? Being having mildew or rust, or even how do you say it? Your even crops can have a sense of mildew, I believe. Let's see, mildew, crops. Disease. Right, powdery mildew, mainly caused by the fungus Podocyphera, xanthi, um, infects all cucurbits, including muskmelons, squash, cucumbers, gourds, right? Watermelons, pumpkins. Powdery mildew infections favor humid conditions with temperatures around 68 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit and warm and dry conditions. New spores form and easily spread the disease, right? So that mildew is talking about crops mainly, right? And that word radap means to chase, right? So, right? So it says, and you will smite thee the Lord, right? Upon in consummation, right? And in fever, and in inflammation, and in extreme heat and drought, right? And in blasting, and in mildew, and you will be chased until you perish. Wahayawa, Shamyaka, right? And will be your heavens, Ashar al Ra'ashka, which are above your head, right? Brass, Nahashtha, Waha Rataza, and the earth, which is below you, Ashar Tachati Yaka, will be iron, right? So that's talking about what? Jake being in the penitentiary, right? In jail, right? Because what happens is what? You have iron on your feet, is what Esau does, right? When you get brought in to the holding cells, right? You have iron, meaning cuffs, placed on your hand, and they're tied to your feet. You have irons, cuffs on your foot. And that's how you are held. You're confined, right? That's the iron on your feet. The brass above you is the plumbing in these various institutions, right? Which most of the time have all these things spoken of: mildew, rust. You know, Jake is living in bad conditions, right? In general, in, out of jail, in the city, in the field, right? In far off countries, right? That's part of the rebuke of the Lord, right? Yathan Yahweh Atha Matar, and you will place the Lord to the rain, right, which is in your land, Aratazaka, unto powder, Abak. That's what that word means. Means powder, meaning extreme drought. Wa Ipar and dust, right? Because that word Ipar means dust or dirt, right? The word apara, that means ashes. So you have Ipar and you have Apar, right? Man Hashemayim, from the heavens, right? Yarad, meaning will go down upon thee. Alayaka, even till you be destroyed. Ad Hashemadka, right? So it says, and you will place the Lord to the rain of your land, turning it unto dust, unto powder and dust, right? From the heavens, and it will go down upon thee until you be made desolate, right? So the Lord is going to turn essentially the rain that comes down from the heavens into dust and powder, right? It's talking about extreme drought, right? Wayathan ka Yahweh Nagap Lapanaya Ayabyaka, and he will appoint unto thee the Lord to be smitten before the face of your enemies. Badarak Ahad Tataza'ah Al Yahweh, in the way one you will go out unto them. Wabashabaya, and in 7 ways Darakium you will flee. Thanawas, before them. Lapanyawa, right? Salakia Lapanyawa, Wahaya Yath, and you will be terrorized. La Zaya, meaning to be terror driven, right? As in to be driven out. Lakal, to all of the dominions of the earth. Malakwath Ha'aratazah. Woo! Lord's not playing around, right? Or he wasn't, right? That's some serious rebuke. Let's see. Let's get that. Which it doesn't necessarily mean terror. Zaiwa, Rizaya, means trembling, terror. Let's see what else we can get. Maltreatment, agitation, right? Zawaya, which is the same thing, Zaya. Agitation, trouble. Doesn't mean trouble. Agitation, fear. Let's see what we can get with this one. Zawai, to shake, to agitate. Tremble, quake. The Arabic says Za'ai, which means impel. Za'ai, Za'azai, move, agitate, shake. Right? Let's see if we can get some precepts. Let's see, move, tremble, vex. Right? So this is in a sense of being terrified, right? Which is what you see happening, right? And right? In the Eastern world, you have wars, you have conflicts, right? Right? All you see is terror, right? And these in the lands of Ham and Ishmael, Elam, that's because the chosen people are not in their land, right? Which is why there's so much conflict, right? Because there's no order, right? Um. So yeah, uh, that's in the sense of terror, right? Which another word, or to be terrified, because the word for terror is ayama, right? But zawai or zaya is mainly in a sense of to be terror driven or terrified, right? So let's see. So here in the Arabic where it says za'ai, really what they do, they replace the ah with the wa, right? For example, um, shawai, right, meaning to deliver, would be written in the Hebrew like this. Slakia. Shawai, right? But this little dot, that's a ah, right? Which would be written in the Arabic sha, ah, sha'ai, right? Which is they also, right, substitute the wa for the ya in certain words, right? Like for example, we would say yarach, meaning moon, which would be yarach in the Arabic, right? What they would say, right, if it's a Hebrew word, right, written, right, in their form, it would be warach, right? They just do that to make it sound cool. Like warach, like to make it sound like, I don't know. So let's see, sha'ai or warach, right? So it says transliterated or slakia the I'm bugging. Verbatim it would say, and you will point the Lord unto thee to be smitten before the face of your enemies. In a way one you will go out unto them, and in 7 ways you will flee before them, and you will be driven in, or you will be terrorized, or salakia, terrorized unto all of the dominions of the earth, right? Because that word malakwath is kingdoms, plural, right? The ma before it, ma malakwath, means dominions, right? As in different rulerships, right? Verse 26, Wahayatha, Nabalathka, and will be your carcasses, right, for food. Lama akal, to all the fowls or birds. Lakal iwap, right? Because that word iwap literally means to fly, or you can be denoting bird, a bird or birds plural, right? To all the fowls of the heavens, hashemayim, Wala Bahamath, and to the beast of the earth, Ha'ratazah, right? Um, Wa'ayan, meaning there will be none, and there will not be, right? Um, Maharayad, right? Them to shake them away, right? Because that word harad means in the sense of to tremble, right? Which is, I'm speaking as a man. That's where Herod got his name from. Because remember, he was an Edomite following Israelite customs, right? Which Harad, means to tremble. You know, he was kind of, you know, so King Herod, it would be loosely translated King Trembling. Right? I guess he wanted to sound like terrible. His name to sound like to instill fear, right? Um. So let's see. So that word Nabal, right, means corpse. Um. So you have a literal way to say corpse, and you have a figurative way to say corpse, right? You have Nabal, and then you have Pagar, meaning that means carcass, actually, right? Why? Because it's in the sense of so you have corpse, and then you have carcass. Pagar, to be exhausted, void of strength, right? Which is that word Pagar. It just means to be, right, exhausted, faint, relaxed, as in the sense of right, a body when it has passed away, right, when the body gives up the spirit, the carcass is just limp, like it's not moving, right? It's the force of life has left it, right? But it just means carcass, not really. I don't want to get too deep because it's a lot we're going over. Harad, let's look at that real quick actually. Harad, Deuteronomy 28 and 16, or Salakia, was that 26? Salakia, just bear with me. Salakia. Harad, to tremble, to be frightened, right? But here in a sense is or terribleness, denoting terribleness. But here it's in the sense of, right, and will be your right, um and will be your corpse, food for all the fowls of the heavens, right, and the beasts of the earth, and there will be none to shake them off, right? Because that word ma means of, harayad means to shake, meaning of shaken, right? Meaning none will be able to shake them off, right? Yakak, yaka, slaki yaka, meaning he will smite, Yahweh, ba shakyan, meaning the Lord will smite thee with boils, or Salakia, with boils of Egypt, Matazarium, Waba Ipalium, and upon hemorrhoids, right? Waba Garab, meaning with a I believe that means like a scar, or what do you call it, scabs. Waba Haras, and itching. Ashar La'a Takal, which you will not be able, right, to heal from or to recover. Laha Rapa'a, right? So let's take a look at that. Deuteronomy 28 and 27, right? Gonna try to go into it as quick as possible. 27. Salakia, bear with me. Paul, Salakia, I didn't mean to click on it. Let's see. Paul Garab Haras Salakia, bear with me. Right, Paul Salakia, I forgot one more. Shakian, which means ulcer, boil, just means boil, right? Shachan, which is the root, as you can see here, right? Just clicked on it, so I don't know why I clicked out. The root is Shachan, right? Paul. So you got boil, and then you got, right? Paul literally means a mound, right? Or hemorrhoid, right? In today's you know, if you put it in context, right, to what that actually means today. Garab, scab, right? Salakia. Haras, itch, right? Simple as that. And last but not least, Salakia, actually. That was from the previous lesson. Or what right. Actually, I didn't go over that, but let's see. Right. So it says, and he will smite thee, right? Meaning the Lord will smite thee, right? Upon the boils of Egypt, right? And upon hemorrhoids, and upon scab, and upon itching, which you will not be able to heal from it, or to recover. Yaka Yahweh Ba Shagai 1 Waba Iwar 1 Waba Tamawan Labab, right? He will smite thee, right, with madness, blindness, and dismay, right, which is right. Let's take a look at that. Deuteronomy 28, verse 28, right? Let's see. We get something else from here. That word Iwara just means blindness, right? Now let's take a look at this. Really pretty simple, right? Slovakia. Damn, I just clicked on it. Alright, let me just close these out. Alright, Shagai, we'll just click on it. Madness, right? Shagai, the Arabic says Shagai, to be brave, vigorous, right? Shagai, vigorous, brave, fierce. It's not what it's talking about. Shagai, to be mad, right? Right, so madness, right? To rave through insanity. That's funny. Right, so it just means madness. Right. Slovakia. Shagai. Madness. And then we got, let's go back. Let's see. Madness, blindness, and astonishment. Tamawan, which is really disquietness. It's just a derivative of hama or thama, right? No, it doesn't mean to wander. Just means to be disquieted, right? So it says, and he will smite thee, the Lord, right, in madness, blindness, and disquietness of heart, right? And I believe that, let's go back. What is it? Verse. Salakia, bear with me. Alright, never mind. Anyways, let's continue. Where was I? Right, verse 29. Wahayath ma Masha Um, and you will grope, right? Um, Ba Tazaharium in noonday, because noon is Tazahar, right? That's the root. Ka Ashar, like witch. Yamasha, he gropeth, right? The blind, Ha I war. Ba Apal, Apala, right? In the darkness, right? Um, which the word Apal or Ipal, it just means gross darkness, right? Or obscurity, which is why the scripture says that gross darkness will cover the people, but unto you will arise a shining of light, meaning this truth, right? As the world is, decaying in morals, and, Jake is bugged out, the nations are bugged out, right? The light of Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to rise upon you, right? Which is part of the curses being lifted up and going upon your enemies, right? Because now we see through the lies, and right, you can precept this Deuteronomy 28 and 29, where Jacob's face will not wax pale, meaning, right, we're not always going to be without the understanding of the scriptures, right? Knowing what will come to pass, right? The day of the Lord, the elect being delivered, 2/3 being destroyed, right? Through the power of Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? Bashem Kakwadash, right? So it says, Wala'ah ta tazalayach, and will not prosper, and you will not prosper in your ways. Atha darakyaka wahayayath, and you will be, right? Aka, meaning however. Ishak, meaning oppressed, right? Not necessarily oppressed, but well, you can say oppressed here, right? But that word Ishak actually means extortion, which is a synonymous with oppression, right? You will be, however, oppressed, wa gazal, right? And robbed, call hayam, call hayamayam, all the days, and there will not be deliverance. Wa ayan, ma shayai, right? Which is the root shawai, which means deliverance, right? So it says, and you will grope in the noonday, like which he that gropeth, the blind, in obscure darkness, and your ways will not prosper, and you will be, however, oppressed and robbed all the days, and will not be delivered, and you will not be delivered, right? So let's look at that word gazal, Deuteronomy 28 and 29. Deuteronomy 28 and 29. Let's get that. Alright, let's see. Let's just type it in just for time's sake. Deuteronomy 28 and 29, right? And I believe that word gazal means to strip off, right? Which is another word for rob, right? Because the word rob is, let's see. Let's see. Pretty sure there was another word. shad, right? Meaning robbery, spoil, right? To waste, right? Which is where you get the word shamad, right? Which means, right, to make desolate, right? Um, or to overthrow, right? Which is where you get the word God Almighty, which is Allah Shaddai, which is right. It actually means Allah, meaning power, and Shaddai, um, the power of destruction, right? Which is right, the Lord, because scriptures say that He killeth and He maketh alive, right? But it also means demon-like power, right? Because He works on the left hand and on the right. Mainly, that's what that means. But that word, if you look into the root, it means the power of destruction or destroying power, right? Um, so let's see, Paul, where's Lackett? Gazal, um, means to despoil, rob, or to strip off, to pluck off, right? Gazal, pluck off, to flay, strip or rob, right? For example, you flay a fish, right? Meaning you cut it up. Gazal, tear away, seize, rob. Which the Arabic says gazal, cut off, right? In the sense of flaying, stripping off, right? You strip off the flesh from an animal. Strip off as skin from flesh to flay, gazal. The Syriac says gala, to pluck off or away, which is the Hebrew gala, which is galaha, which means to remove, right? Let's see what else, right? Right, so you will be oppressed and spoiled, right? Which is another word, another way to say rob, right? So it says, right, and you will grope in the noonday, like which he gropeth, he that is blind, and gross darkness, and your ways will not prosper, and you will be, however, oppressed and spoiled all the days, and there will be none to deliver thee. Asha, the Arash, wa Ayash, Achar, right? A wife you will espouse, and a man another, right? He will lay with her. Ya Shakabna, Bayath, Tabana, a house you will build. Wala'a, Tashab, Bawa, and you will not dwell in it, right? And that still is even happening today, right? Because you have, Jake doesn't have order, right? So he lets the woman do whatever she wants, right? Eve, right? Or, the women of Israel, right? You just have, you do not want to submit to your husband, right? You don't want to, you know, um, you despise, order and correction, right? And even today, you know, you may be able to buy a house, right? But you're not going to dwell in it because you're too busy, right? Slaving away, just to keep up, with the times, right? Or keep up with the Jones, like they say, right? So, especially in these times, I mean, Jake is definitely Jake is prospering, but uh, the means do not um justify the ends, because there's nothing wrong with doing better for yourself, but if you don't know, the things what is coming, like economical collapse, the Karagma, Armageddon, you're just gonna be destroyed. I mean, yeah, you're doing good, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that, but you should also be able to focus on the scriptures as well and receiving the understanding, right? So Jake in the world, they're just they're trying to make it to the top, and some of them sell out. I mean, like these rappers and movie stars. So you got to kind of cast the truth behind your back, Um, so yeah, that goes into right a house you will build and you will not dwell in it, right? Um, I mean, you doesn't mean you're not gonna literally dwell in it, but you're not gonna have time for that because you're you're work, you're always working and stuck in the rat race, like they say, right? But like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Scriptures say use the world and not abuse it. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, so it says karam tatai, meaning vineyard you will plant and you will not harvest it. Wala'a the halal nawa, right? The word halal means to pierce, right? Meaning you will not, um, harvest your vineyard, right? But if you want to read it exactly how it's written, it's saying vineyard you will plant and will not pierce it, meaning you're not going to harvest it. Verse 31, Shawar ka tabach la ayanyaka, meaning your ox will be slaughtered, right? Because that word zabach means sacrifice. Tabach means to slaughter for a sacrifice, right? So your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes. Wala'a ta'akal mamanawa, and you will not eat of it, which happened to the Northern Kingdom during the time of the conquistadors, the Spaniards. You know, what did they do? And that happened to Gad too. You know, Esau, when he came in, he slaughtered all the buffaloes, right, or a lot of them, right. Hamar ka gazal, and your ass will be spoiled, meaning your donkey will be spoiled or robbed from before thee. Ma lapanaya ka wala'a yashawab, and will not be returned. They will not return it unto thee. Laka taza'an ka, your flocks, right? They will be given Nathan Wath to your enemies, La Ayab Yaka, which is what Esau did, when he came into the Western world and spoiled Gad and all the other tribes that were here during that time, right? And later he brought in Northern Kingdom and whatnot, right? Or Salakia, Southern Kingdom, right? Because the Northern Kingdom, they were already here in the Americas, right? Which are the indigenous North and South Americans, right? There's no such thing as a North and South American. You have Gad, and then you have, right, which is part of the 8 lost tribes, right, which is you have Naphtali, you have Gad, Zebulon, Reuben, Issachar, Ephraim, Manasseh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Asher, right? These are, scriptures say the 10 lost tribes, but that's because Dan is scattered in all the tribes, right? which makes it 9. And then you have um, the tribe of Joseph, right? Which really makes it 10, but that's divided into 2 tribes, right? So you have the 8, which is makes up 8 tribes that make up Southern Kingdom. Then you have the Northern Kingdom, or Salakia. This is the Southern Kingdom, the 8 lost tribes. And then you have the Negroes, the West Indies, West Indians. The Negroes are Judah. West Indians is Benjamin, right? You have the Haitians, which are the Levites, and then you have the Simeonites, which are the Dominicans, right? That's the Southern Kingdom, right? So, and that's right. Those were brought afterwards on slave ships, and the Northern Kingdom as well, because they were right. That was done by what was it? Salakia. Damn phone just turned on. That was done by what is it called? By the Portuguese, right? Um, so Salakia. But anyways, so it says, your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes. You will not eat of it. Your ass will be spoiled from before thee, and will not be returned unto thee. Your flocks will be given to your enemy, and there will be none, right, unto thee to deliver thee, right, which is wa'ayan laka mashayai, right? Salakia, just bear with me. Verse 32. Try to speed up a little bit. Banyaka wa banath yaka, and your sons and your daughters will be given. Nathaniam, la'im, achar, to people another. Wa ayat yaka, and your eyes will see. Ra awath, and will wa kalawath, right? And will be consumed, right, unto them. Al yahum, right? Bear with me. Call hayawam all the day. Wa ayan la'al yadka, and there will be no power in your hand, right? Which is what you saw with the Gadites, right? Which are the Native American Indians, Seminole Indians, right? Which is the tribe of Reuben, right? They were put up in these boarding schools, and they were taken away from their parents, killed, and even the Northern Kingdom still happens today, right? By immigration and border patrol, things of that sort, and that happened with Jake as well, which is the Southern Kingdom during the 1800s, right? Slavery, and you read all about that in the book of Nahum, chapter 1 and 2, which talks about the rise of Esau, right, and him coming back into power, right? Salakia. But it also talks about Nineveh, right? But I have a breakdown on that as well. You can search my channel, right? So it reads verbatim, and your sons and your daughters will be given to another people, and your eyes will see, will be consumed towards them, right? All the day, and there will be no power in your hand, right? Pariah Adamathka Wakal Yagayaika, meaning the fruit of your land, right? and all of your wearisome toil, because that word yagai means wearisome toil, not imal. Imal means toil, regular, but that word yagai means wearisome toil, right? Or to be wearied, right? But here it's talking about you know um, your wearisome toil, which means, right, the fruits of your land, right, um, and all for which you toil, right, to no effect, right, which is another way to say wearisome toil. They will eat, ya'akal, a people, I'm Ashar, which you have not known, la'a yadaitha, wa wahayayath, right, and you will be only require oppressed, ishak, wa ratazataz, right, and downtrodden all the days, call hayamayim, right. Let's take a look at that word ratazataz. um, let's see, what is it, verse 33. Yeah, I might have to make two parts to this video, right, Lord willing. Verse 33, Salakia. Oh, here it is. Verse 33. Let's look up that word yagai, yagayai, which the root is yagai. Labor, toil, right? Wearisome, grief, toil, work, right? But really, when you go into the root, it's talking about to be exhausted, toil, faint, right? Faint is more ayap, right? Toil, grow, be weary, right? Yagai. Let's see what the Jacinius Hebrew Lexicon says. Lexicon: to labor, especially with effort and toil, so as to become weary, right? To be fatigued, wearied out, right? So it says, in the fruit of your land, right? And all of your and all of your toil. Really, you can just say toil, just to simplify it. But the word for toil is actually imal, right? But really, you can say, for example, verbatim, it says, the fruit of your land and all your toil they will eat, a people which you have not known, and you will be only oppressed and downtrodden all the days, right? Salakia. So let's look at that word, ratazataz. And I'm going to go ahead and close it out with this, right? Ratazataz, to break in, break down, to oppress, treat violently, to break in pieces, crush, to press. That doesn't mean to crush. Crush is dak, the ka, right? Let's see. Break, bruise, crush, discourage, oppress, struggle together. Not necessarily. It just means, right? Let's see, struggle, crushed, right? Right. So it, it's in the sense of struggle, right? Or let's see. Yeah, basically it means a struggle, right? Genesis 25 and 22, and the children struggled together within her, right? Because you can struggle with somebody, or you can struggle in a matter, right? In a thing, right? So with that, right, this is Deuteronomy 28, uh, verse 1 through 33, part 1, and I'm going to do part 2. But in the meantime, Lord willing, you were edified. It's Brother Yatazadak, hero of Israel, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. Kwame Yasha Allah, Baba Ball, Shalom.